Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Normal World. I'm Dave Landau.
I'm Quarter Black Garrett, and as always, Angela.
Hi.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
Hey. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
Joining us back on the show, you can see him with me coming up very soon next month at, what's the club?
Hyenas.
In
Fort Worth, Texas.
And your name is?
Matt McClowry.
Thank you for joining us again today.
Thank you for having me.
You have been a thorn in my side all week. And also joining us for the first time, you can see him regularly at the Mothership Comedy Club in Austin, Texas. Please welcome John Hoeft.
What's up? How we doing?
Good. How about you, sir?
Good to see you guys doing well. Happy to be here.
Glad you came down.
Yeah.
To shoot a sketch with us today.
Thanks, had a good time.
Yeah. I'm glad you joined us. I saw him performing, and I thought he was very good. So invited him to be on the show.
Thank you.
I'm all good with that.
It's a really great room.
Oh, isn't it amazing?
It's like there's not anything like it.
Yeah. It's insane to get, because I'm really young into stand-up still, and to like have the amount of access to like an insanely high quality room and that's always full.
Yes.
Is ridiculous.
It's got to be nice. I like the little room is almost it's so perfect in size and like I don't know, just the way it's shaped. It's like perfect for watching comedy though. There's just something so special about that little
It's a kill box. It's like exactly what you want.
Yeah, it's just spectacular.
It's so intimate. Like there's no like performative to it. You just
what is it about the room shape? Because I've only seen comedy in back alleys and stuff.
Honestly, dude, it's a square, and it's the way that a room should look.
Yeah, it's like it's literally like just a little rectangle. You got the stage right in the middle, right there. It's just packed as many people as we can. Ceilings are only like 15 feet high. Like maybe not even that. Like it's just exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it was designed by a comic for comics.
Yep,
You know, Rogan got to build it from the ground up, and then he had like Louis C.K. and people who got their feedback on how it should be, and they've had so many years of experience.
I forgot what comedy show I watched. I think I saw you there. It's just this like massive room that was like, it was just like a football field. I felt like I was so far away from the stage.
The Improv here?
Maybe.
Yeah, it might have been.
Maybe. And there's like a pillar in the way, and I'm like, what is this room? And it's like an L shape too. It's just such a poorly.
Well, that's the thing with most comedy clubs is that they're just terrible.
Well, yeah, most venues, it's just
most of them. Yeah. Honestly, I love them all, but it's like there's always just one pillar that's supporting the whole room, and you're like, how is this one pillar doing this whole thing? And that's what's great is that we don't have.
It's in somebody's sight line.
Yeah,
you know, they have a sound system they inherited that people complain about at every single show.
Right.
They just never do anything about it.
And the food becomes more important than the comic, which is what I like.
Which is weird because it's terrible food.
Don't serve food, which is dope. I like that too because I have to fucking pick up the trash. So.
Dude, there's nothing.
No ranch on my sleeves.
Like I understand places, I guess, you want to have a dinner date or whatever, but I just love the idea that it's like just this comedy club for the sake of watching comedy.
Yeah. One time I was featuring, I was featuring once, and Bill Burr dropped it, and I'm terrified because it's Bill Burr, and then he's performing in front of people who don't necessarily know who he is. And one point, because it's so early in the show, he just goes, "Are you guys? I've never been in front of so many people eating in all my life. Is the food really that good that you come here for it?"
Yeah, that's especially in any of the rooms where you're like, I'll have the Bernie mac and cheese. Yeah. And you're like, why do you want this?
It's not going to be good.
Yeah, it's Kraft mac and cheese. It's not going to be good. It's definitely just Kraft mac and cheese.
Yeah.
They put it in the oven, put a little cheese on top. Yeah, it's fancy.
Whenever it's held as the comedy first, it always succeeds. Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase is like that. It was always, you get popcorn.
Popcorn, that's it.
That's it. And it was always, you pay for your ticket, you see the comedy show, and that's it. And most clubs that I've ever seen ran with like comedy first have always been the best places.
And
what's your favorite show you've seen there? I mean, you've had to seen a lot at this point.
I don't know. I got to watch Ron White, Shane Gillis, and Joe Rogan all do a set together on our show, Bottom of the Barrel. It's Brian Simpson's show.
Yeah, where you draw the names.
You draw the names,
topics,
and it's all riffing. And they did like an hour together.
That's awesome.
And that was absolutely, I mean, that's just like one that you're just like, holy shit, like how am I in this room right
Ron's
now?
There like every night.
Huh?
It seems Ron's there like every night.
Ron's there a lot.
Is Ron based out of Austin?
Yeah,
I know he's from Texas, but I didn't know where from.
I think he moved back from LA a while ago. I don't know how long ago, but he
had a
came
house
out
in
of
LA
retirement for the club.
Hell yeah.
And now he's there all the time, and it's cool, dude. It's
and back on the road again, which he did.
Yeah, and now he's doing like casinos around, and I've seen it where he'll literally like get off stage in Fat Man, walk down the stairs, walk out front, get on his tour bus, and go to a show somewhere like else. Just like get on the road like right after.
Where I first met him was 04, Punchline in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I did not know who he was.
That was a great story.
He was I was just drinking with him all night. I was a kid.
Yeah.
And he's doing a guest set. And I'm like, how do you want me to bring you up? And he's like, you just say Ron White. He's like, I think they'll know me. I'm like, okay. So I walk out and I go, please welcome Ron White. And the place goes ape shit.
Yeah.
This is like height of blue collar.
Right, yeah.
They're standing up and just like clapping and and like he comes out and he's like,
ooh.
And he's like, he's drinking. I was drinking. He's like, I think they know me. And then he just proceeds to murder.
Of course.
And I go outside to just smoke again. And I'm like, oh, his face is on a bus.
Yeah. You're like,
Yeah, he was great because he was part of that original outlaw circuit that I don't know if a lot of comics know about, but I'm sure people like you do if you hang out in that group there where like Carl LeBove is kind of known of it, but there's also Andy Huggins who's still left around here, but it was sort of the Bill Hicks, Sam Kinison.
Yeah.
Did I say Andy Huggins?
Yeah.
Is he still here? And then you have Ron Schock, who was absolutely...
The late Ron Schock.
The late Ron Schock was amazing. There was just this group of 80s comics that were all out of Texas, mainly Houston.
Met Andy before.
Andy's great.
Andy's still great.
Dude, he murders. He writes
hard.
new material. Have you seen the Early Bird special?
No, I haven't.
It's fucking fabulous. And the guy's 80 years old.
I worked the secret group. I was down there doing like a couple of shows down at the secret group in Houston.
Yeah.
And he was on one of the shows, and we were all just bombing. Everybody was just like, this sucks. We hate the show. And then Andy Huggins walks out, just demolishes so hard and just broke all of our egos because we were like, all right, there's no excuses at all.
Yeah.
This guy just leveled. This is a great room. We just suck.
They used to have a comedy club there. Every comic would perform at it. It was such a great room. I'm blanking on it. Let's say, was it Don Barris who owned it? Right, maybe way off.
Was it the Laugh Stop in Houston?
Laugh Stop in Houston, yes. And then, that was a legendary room. And then another room opened right after that was there for a while I would go and do. And Andy would always come out and like feature for me and just murder and annihilate.
Yeah.
But it was always fun because he would just come out because he appreciated comedy and just wanted to be around comics. And every show, just crushing new stuff, always had this passion for it. And that whole group, Ron Schock was a storyteller in a way that nobody I've ever seen do it, besides Ron White maybe, where he would have an audience, 9 minutes, focused, not getting a laugh on purpose, and then at the last minute have the line that crushed the place.
Oh, yeah.
For 3 minutes, and you don't see that anymore. Like that was that style and that art, and that's what I like. I guess I liked about Rogan's Room when I walked in. It felt like when I first started, there was still that outlaw because Joe used to be part of this thing called Sacred Cow, and it had like Ninja Bachelor Party that was a Bill Hicks VHS that he made, and Stanhope's albums were on it, and Joe's original.
There used to be Alex Jones.
Alex Jones
videos were on it.
Yeah, it was.
Really?
It was this.
Dwight Slade, who grew up with Bill Hicks.
Yeah, they sold his book, American Scream, I think it was called, and it was all that was on there, and it was very kind of underground at one time, and it's kind of interesting to see how it's gone from that, and it was like Sicko, Stanhope, Dick Bumps, and Deadbeat Hero, and then it's grown into this. It's just kind of cool to see how it's becoming back into the art again of comedy.
Yeah, that's what's great about the club, and I think that's something that Joe's talked about it on his podcast a lot. It's all comedy first, and it's very funny first, and it's a great as a young comic, and like.
How long have you been doing stand-up?
About 4.5.
Oh, cool.
4.5 years, yeah. But it's just it's a great place to get to it's pretty unbelievable. They let me tell jokes there.
No, it's great. Well, and that's not a short amount of time if you hustled either.
Yeah.
It's still, half a decade of your life. When
I know.
Oh, yeah, I know people who've been doing it for 22 years who I'm sure you've lapped several times over.
Yeah, there's plenty of people who say, that's the shitty thing about comedy is you can do it once and tell people you're a comic, and then there's people that actually do comedy.
Yeah.
So
But you can tell the difference whenever you comics know who comics are.
Of course. And yeah, you see them. And speaking of legendary comedy, this is how I'm going to segue. Hey, Blazing Saddles is coming up on its 50th anniversary.
I didn't know.
Yeah, 1974.
Awesome. Torn from the fiery pages of the mightiest annals
you a fan?
of the West, comes
Mel Brooks?
Oh, yeah.
Saga
One of the greatest movies of all time.
Easily. And of course, written by Richard Pryor.
Yes.
Written by Mel Brooks.
It's hard to believe it's been 50 years.
I know.
It really is.
Right? Like, I wasn't even alive, but...
When you also think about how irreverent the movie was, that this it's been half a century of this kind of comedy.
It's like,
yeah,
I want to quote it, but I'll get in trouble for quoting my favorite lines.
Yeah, exactly.
Harump, harump, harump.
Yeah, it was really...
I didn't get a harump out of that guy.
A harump? Yeah, Blazing Saddles, it was 1974 when it came out. Obviously a satirical Western directed by Mel Brooks, and the screenplay was Andrew Bergman, Richard Pryor, Norman Steinberg, and Alan Uger, and it was thought up in the shower by Mel Brooks.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like, let's make a Western?
Isn't that when you get your best ideas, though? Not doing something...
Yeah, idling. Yeah.
Differently, yeah.
Which is a lost art today because of smartphones. We always have to be distracted by something. We always have to have a podcast, something. And I'm thinking of the last good joke I wrote like 6 or 7 or 8 years ago, and it's literally on the road, not listening to anything.
Yeah. One of the best advice I ever got for being creative was, if you're trying to be creative, turn everything off. Don't listen to music. Don't listen to a podcast. Don't do anything else except for the thing that you're doing.
Yeah, meditation is a big part of it, yeah. And if you're idling, and too, and like stuff I've done with jogging too, where it's something that's repetitive and you're not thinking about what else you have to do.
Your brain can like detach and then start going, oh wait, we can connect these things.
That's what I have to do. I have to be like on a walk or go for a drive, because otherwise I'm so ADD, I can't do it. I can't just I don't know how people just sit down and like write things down in a book or read or do anything. It's insane.
I can do it for sketches, and I mean, I can read. I can do it if I know what the focus is of, like, I can write a point of view of a character.
Yeah.
Stand-up's just such a different animal where I have to almost have a memory trigger and then write off the story of that. And like, I can't be doing something else or I can't be sitting there hoping I get something.
It's like I'm not a storyteller like you are, but all my jokes have some basis in something that happened, so it like requires an inciting incident.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and then I'm just like looking for those, and I'm like, a lot of times I'm just like walking around, something interesting had to have happened in my life at some point or another.
See, that's the thing. Anytime I just sit down and try to write jokes, I just leave feeling like a fucking idiot. I'm just like, dude, I'm just sitting there for like an hour, and I'm just like, I've done nothing and I know nothing. And I suck.
Then I was
like writing an entire film like that is as good as Blazing Saddles. It's a joke every 10 seconds. It's just like bam, 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 and they're all bangers. Every single one.
Like 7 or 8 years ago,
that went into that movie.
I got to see a screening of it that Mel Brooks did a Q&A before and after it, and he was amazing at it for his age. He was very sharp.
Sure.
He was still with it. He had a great story about how when he auditioned Madeline Kahn, he needed to see her legs for something for the outfit. And she's like, oh, it's one of those auditions. He's like, no, it's not one of those auditions. I just need this seriously. And she shows him his legs and leaves. And he's like, I wish it was one of those auditions.
She's hired.
Yeah, he said, obviously there was some backlash later in years. I mean, the movie premiered in 1974 at the Pickwick Drive-In Theater in Burbank. 250 invited guests, and Wilder and Little were on horseback watching the movie.
Cool. Oh, that's awesome. The whole movie?
Yeah, the whole movie.
He just sat on a horse the whole time?
Watch the film. And
I feel like they had to be like 20 minutes in that movie. Like, this was a stupid bit. This is so uncomfortable.
Too late now, though.
I'm sure they hated everything.
Yeah. Why the fuck did we do this, dude? We're such idiots.
Was Pryor originally supposed to play the lead?
That was the idea.
Yeah, they couldn't insure him.
Yep. Because of his drug addiction, yeah, so that's why he was writing it, and then he was also going to be cast in it.
Okay,
yeah, because of which it's strange, but I mean, Little really does do a perfect job in that film. Like,
absolutely.
I really don't know if Pryor would. It's the only movie with Wilder, I would say. Pryor probably wouldn't have worked as well.
Yeah, I feel like Pryor may have been a little bit too big. He would have been too big. I like the fact that he played it so like even keel.
Well, that's kind of like the idea of Eddie Murphy playing Winston.
Exactly, same exact.
It just doesn't work.
It doesn't work for that character because Winston is such a everyman. He's supposed to be the blue collar guy that comes in and goes, "Hey, I just want to get a paycheck," and that wouldn't have been.
It's sort of like Leslie Nielsen in Airplane, where Little just was perfectly dry and a straight man, and that's why it played so well. And he was aware that he was self-aware. Where Richard Pryor was so self-aware as a human being and as a black guy that I don't think it would have. I don't know if it would have functioned in the way that it should have at that time.
I saw like those little miracles like that happen when you get these perfect films. That it's just like the perfect things line up, and it just makes something that's beautiful.
Yeah, and I mean he's still got his name on it, and I mean you know that he wrote some of the best jokes in it.
Yeah,
and Paul Mooney took credit for it.
Paul Mooney, I did everything.
I wrote it all.
It was all me. Paul Mooney.
No.
No, it's just another.
You were thinking of another guy that I know.
No, another thing about Paul Mooney.
Oh,
and that guy you talked to once.
Another guy I met on my show. Yeah,
another guy who met Paul Mooney in an interesting way.
Yeah, that was a dark story.
Yes,
oh man, he tried on all the sins.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul Mooney did fuck it. All right.
What a character. What a character.
That guy. R.I.P. Have you heard any of these stories?
No.
Oh, good. We'll tell you after. I'm on air. Well, or Metzger can just tell you. Yeah. He brought it up. He brought it up in an article written about
thing about Paul Mooney. He fucked Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Like, what?
Like, sorry, what?
Because of the Illuminati, you know.
I'm sorry, what?
You're doing great, Kurt.
Well, it's just autism with weed.
And you have half of that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Works out.
I love that guy, by the way, but I just can't catch his wavelength. It's so hard.
I love him.
I think it's the weed that separates you.
Yeah, I think you're right.
You have the autism,
yeah.
Literally. You're not a weed guy.
No.
Have you ever tried
That's
it?
why we jive, man.
Never smoked pot.
Dude, I've smoked every day for like 4 years, and I've never once had a good time. I don't know why I do it, dude. Every single day, I just get scared as hell.
Is that what it does, dude?
For real, that's every day, dude. I smoke weed and I'm just scared.
It just gives you.
I'm just scared shitless.
It just gives you worse anxiety.
Yeah, dude. I'll turn on Lord of the Rings and I'll hit the ball, and then I'm just there like, fucking orcs, bro. Oh, yeah. I really feel for him. Like,
never.
Frodo's got to get that ring to Mordor, bro.
They're hiding under that tree. They're not going to get away, dude. How are they going to do it?
How are they going to do this?
Like, I can't write jokes. I'm just afraid of everything.
I'm just scared all the time. It's a lesson I never learned. Yeah. It's every day I wake up and make the same mistakes.
You just forget.
Yeah.
I was a lot like that. I always smoked a good amount to be terrified.
Yeah.
I never felt even. I was always like, wow, this is way worse. I'm going to need to drink to settle down.
Yeah, I'm deeply uncomfortable right now.
You need to mellow out.
Guess I'm going to wait this one out.
Explains why right when you walked in, he's like, do you have whiskey? I'm like, I do.
Yeah. Wait, why?
Yeah, gotta calm down.
Yeah, he's like, I gotta tell you, I've been doing all this weed I don't want to do.
That's weirdly like my relationship with caffeine, you know? It's like, it's not making my life better, but I can't stop doing it.
That's what I've noticed about everyone that I grew up with is I never drank coffee. I just never thought it was good. And all of my friends started drinking coffee, and that was all they ever talked about was like, oh, coffee. And they can never not drink coffee.
Well like if you quit,
when people talk about coffee, like it really depends on who they are that's talking about coffee. Because I have friends that are like, they're like the don't talk to me until I have my coffee.
Yeah,
and then they go to Starbucks and they're like, they get like a million ingredients, and it's like you're not addicted to you're addicted to sugar.
Oh, I'm addicted to
You're not
caffeine.
drinking coffee.
Yeah, this isn't a coffee if there's whipped cream and sprinkles on it.
You're drinking sugar with a little bit of coffee in it.
Right.
I'm definitely addicted to the
Diabetic.
caffeine because I always have it black, but it's like any other drug where it's so great the first time and then you just ruin it by doing it every day. It just becomes a thing you have to drink so you don't have a headache.
Yeah, that's why I'm chugging Monster, because I get migraines. And I've been up since 7 a.m. And I don't.
I've been pretty bad about the Monsters too. I'm trying the zero sugar ones too. Like,
well, they pretend like it's all right for you. We all know it's not.
Yeah. It's
like,
horrible.
oh, no, wait, there's no sugar. It'll still eat out your esophagus. Destroy
Missing
your
pebbles.
It'll give you stomach cancer. But no, it's fine. Enjoy.
Yeah, but the can's really
fine.
cool. So
Yeah, it's nice.
See that?
Focus on
10
how
calories, bro. You good.
cool you look.
We'll actually give you a sticker so it'll look like a monster left claws on your shitty car. What a
If you drink
delight.
enough
So
of
that's
them,
how
you'll get
that-
a tattoo and everyone will hate you for it.
That's how Liquid Death was created, is because at like Warped Tour, they would have monsters. All these singers, they would be drinking monsters, and somebody was like, "Wow, are they drinking these monsters like all day long, every single day at every show?" And it was water. And Monster,
Because it was sponsored by Monster. They used to have Monster tents up that
yeah,
you could
they
get free Monster.
they made
at.
Monster water, and it just looked like monsters. And he was like, "Ding! Why don't I just sell water and make it look like Monster?" And that's how that whole
So just
Liquid Death came out, which is a fucking great idea.
Well, it's just Perrier, and then they were like, we don't have to overcharge.
Doesn't have to look
actually
all
do.
gay, you know.
Just
Make
throw
it
it
look
in a
cool.
can.
Yeah, so then you could just rave all day. God, well, people suck.
Somebody's like, how do I market bottled water to somebody who will never leave the town they went to high school in?
I got it.
Make it
I know.
Make
Get
it look
something-
rad.
But sometimes
make a brand
people-
they'll tattoo on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? Sometimes people do come up with a genius idea.
Oh, like who?
Miracle Made sheets.
Oh man.
Do you know that your temperature at night can have one of the greatest impacts on your sleep quality?
I know.
If you wake up too hot or too cold, I highly recommend you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. Inspired by NASA, Miracle Made uses silver-infused fabrics and makes temperature regulating bedding so you can sleep the perfect temperature all
There's silver.
night.
Silver and
Long infused.
So no werewolves,
Dang.
no vampires.
Sleeping like a
None of that
king.
stuff.
Sleeping like a king with
No
Miracle Made.
iron in your blood. It's designed for your skin. Stop sleeping.
It's colloidal
bacteria.
silver.
It's
Colloidal silver.
hurts the spine. No, it's bacteria. It clogs your pores.
That's right.
And that's when you get all sort of gross acne and have Rocky Dennis face, and nobody wants to take you to the big dance. So if you have a gross teen daughter at home, I would highly recommend getting her a nice pair of Miracle sheets.
Drape a sheet.
They'll
right
go
over-
ahead and wick off all those wonderful, awful bacteria that give her the acne. But you don't want anybody. Maybe you have a hot daughter. Get these so nobody will date. Don't get these.
Yeah.
Get these for you so you're a handsome man.
You look great.
Give her your old gross sheets so nobody wants to touch her.
That's right.
And you can sleep on these beautiful Miracle Made sheets. Just go to miraclemade.com/normal and you're also going to get a face towel,
Ooh,
a hand towel,
that's 2.
a body towel.
3.
What?
And save an extra 20%.
Extra 20
On
What do you-
top of
on
it.
top
What do you,
of
what do you mean? An extra 20% on top of the free
You're
towels?
going to get the 3 free towels and you're going to save an extra 20% on the sheets.
Damn.
And I actually use these sheets every night, no joke. I
have
love
a pair
them
as well.
I love them.
They're pretty nice.
They make you cool at night.
Which I really like. I do sleep hot.
Yeah, like Snoopy wearing sunglasses. Or like the cigarettes that, people in my neighborhoods would smoke in the 90s.
And y'all's skin looks so good.
I know, right?
Thank you.
And it's because I can sleep on sheets that wick bacteria off.
Yeah, look at her. She looks so nice right there.
Yeah, look at her. She's
Don't,
like,
don't talk about her. Don't.
Oh, I'm
Let's
sorry.
move on from
oh
her.
yeah, we forgot.
We can't talk about her.
She looks happy.
Nope.
Miracle.com. Trymiracle.com/normal. Get your ass some sheets.
Yep.
Nice.
I think that was the best ad read we've ever had.
Profit well.
Accuracy
yeah.
wise.
I followed all the rules.
That was
You were mentioning people's hot daughters and stuff. That's the only thing
yeah.
I think of.
We got to sprinkle in a little.
Well, no, but I said
Normal world on top
if
of
you
it.
didn't want somebody to
It was
date your
about
hot daughter,
stopping the abuse of hot dogs.
that's what I was saying.
You came in with the right. You had the
John,
right
you don't
mindset.
know. You don't know what these ads have been.
I've gotten some
No.
notes, John.
the levels.
I don't know, but you might get more after that one. You
No,
gotta
that
get more
one
notes.
was
Oh no,
That
that
was
was
a good
tame.
one.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, that was
was tame.
Yeah, it was really
Quite tame.
tame.
Wow.
I didn't mention anyone who played the Flash. So I want to get into, Patrick Mahomes' dad. You're a football guy, right?
I'm recently a football guy.
Who's your team?
Recently, I don't really have one. I've just been watching this last year or two.
So you watched my Lions.
Yeah, I was devastated. I wanted the Lions so bad, dude.
No, man. It's just
I wanted them so bad.
Lost third game, right?
yeah.
2 in a row though.
Yeah, I would say we
but-
lost. Second and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, the first half was the
First
most
half was a good half.
promising.
All right.
I was excited.
And then all of a sudden, a ball bounces off someone's face into the hands of the other team and into the 5-yard line, and you go, "Well, this is the line."
Time to wrap it up. I'm gonna go home.
And Matt played football.
I played football for 8 years. Yeah, I was an offensive lineman because I'm a great athlete.
Mm-hmm. He was overweight. That's what he said.
Well, I'm uncoordinated. I wasn't always overweight.
You're not overweight now.
I'm not overweight now. But I wasn't overweight when I was a little kid. I was just tragically uncoordinated, so I thought better lean into this, and then I'm going to have some fat cells that I have to fight off for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I played one game, so I don't care.
I played football for a few years growing up, but I was a giant pussy. As soon as tackle football became a thing, I was like, yeah, right, dude.
I was the same way with
that was the
Little
only
League
thing.
baseball. I was like, I'm good with baseball, right in between the
Tackle baseball
T-ball.
sucks.
ball and when they start actually having tryouts, and I was like, I'm out.
Yeah, no, that was the only thing. That was the only sport I liked playing because there was an outlet for my aggression. You know, as an autistic guy, I could bash my head into something other than a wall.
And this was before Columbine, so you didn't know where to go with your anger. Yeah, we
There
had
were many avenues.
Yeah, in high school, I just looked like the guy who would have picked on me. You know,
I got tackled by this dude named Nick who weighed 300-something pounds. And it was a senior when I was a freshman. My helmet went flying off my body. I lit up a Newport and I walked home. I was like, this is not the game for me. Wow. I played baseball still after that. But
Was your brother good at it?
Yeah, he was good at football, yeah. My dad was good at football. My son is good at football.
What the heck?
I am
just right over.
I don't like getting hit and tackled.
Yeah, that was my problem.
Yeah.
It's not.
The first time I played tackle football, and then
baseball.
I got hit like really hard one time, and I cried, and I was in.
Yeah.
I remember still after that, I was
high?
like, I'm gonna be great at this. And my dad, I could see it in my dad's eyes. He was like, you're gonna be on the swim team.
You're from Texas too, right?
Yeah, I grew up around Austin.
Oh man,
Was your dad a Texan?
Nah, he's from Iowa.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't.
So he was okay with it.
football every single day of your life.
No, they put me in swim team pretty early. They were like, you're gonna be in the pool.
Okay, good. So it wasn't like a Friday Night Lights thing where you came home and he's like bashing your head against the refrigerator.
I think they were pretty clear. Like, you need independent sports.
He's just buying you golf clubs.
You don't seem like you're gonna go well on a team.
That's good though. Well, Matt's dad, you played for
My dad was drafted by the Giants. My dad and two of his brothers played at Michigan State. His oldest brother played at Holy Cross. My dad was drafted in the NFL, and so was my Uncle Bob. And then my brother played at University of Connecticut. Yeah. So I let everyone down.
That's true. But what did I get you for Christmas?
What did you get me for Christmas?
It was football themed.
Wow. Wasn't long ago.
I'm blanking. Sorry.
It's a pretty good gift.
I know. Oh, yeah, you got me the O.J. Simpson. You got me an autographed O.J. Simpson jersey.
Did you guys see his tweet?
I got a couple.
LA?
Yeah, I got my brother one too. He put a black glove in the box. In the frame. Anyway.
What was the tweet?
The tweet, OJ said he doesn't like going to LA because he never knows if he's sitting next to who did it.
Did he say that?
Yeah, dude,
Bro, you're always sitting.
It was like, you got away with it. Get over it. You know what I mean? Stop bringing this up.
Yeah.
It's weird at this point.
Hey guys, I didn't do it. I'll let you know. Read my book.
Let's say you were. He's probably pretty old now, roughly your age.
Mm-hmm. Your build. Came from the same.
I love that he wrote. I love that he wrote a confession called "If I Did It."
I know.
And the Goldmans just
They
took it and named it "I Did It."
But if
They put the if in
Real
really
small.
tiny.
But it's just it's a play-by-play of how he did it, which means he does remember doing it.
Oh, yeah.
It rules out the whole CTE thing. I mean, I get it.
dude, why?
You've all been mad.
Why? I don't understand a scenario.
Where you kill your wife and a waiter?
If you did, why would you write that book? If you didn't,
Because you got
why the
away
hell
with
would
it.
you write that
It was
book?
after the fact. You can't be tried for it again.
Double jeopardy.
What was like the Phil Spector thing where, he's like, well,
Power
she killed
thing.
herself in the house. And it's like, yeah, but no, very few people shoot themselves through their teeth. That was
Like Robert Blake's, I couldn't have shot her because I was going to get my gun.
I was going to get the matching gun that was in the restaurant. He's like, it's impossible that I shot her with that gun. My gun was sitting. I had just ordered the Robert Blake, which was my gun, on a plate of spaghetti. Yeah, that was him. 3 of them in a row did that.
Yeah, I mean, if you were on TV in the 70s, you could get away with murder.
What was his show? Because I
Beretta.
Beretta, and I have a picture of me standing in front of my parents' olive green fridge wearing Beretta pajamas. I'm like, where did you find these?
Like, why are they small enough for a kid to wear?
Yeah, it's not like I was a Beretta fan. I wasn't always like, hey, Mom, can we watch Beretta with Robert Blake, the former Little Rascal who will
get my Columbo pajamas on? What?
Just Kojak with a sucker.
Well, yeah, me and my mom went as Scarecrow and Mrs. King. And the next year we were Jake and the Fat Man.
Yeah. Oh, God. Do you remember that show? That's the weirdest one for a couple of years. Mm-hmm. The two detectives of Jake solving crimes and a fat man being like, yeah, you're doing that right.
And there was Riptide with the dollar store, Tom Selleck and the robot. That was a one.
What?
I also just love Angela Lansbury in Murder, She Wrote, where technically it was the most dangerous town in all of the earth.
It's constantly death.
Yeah, because there's like 400 people that live there and someone died every day.
Stumbling upon it.
Via murder.
The murder rate here is 94%.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't want to live here.
We're going to be at 100% 16 days into January.
And we're starting to think it's this best-selling author who writes a book about all the ones that happened.
She's the only one who's got a good motive.
Everything.
Yeah, she solves all the crime.
Yeah, it's weird.
She's kind of old, so like when she dies, we're fucked.
It's kind of weird. When she died, all the murders stopped.
Just dried right up. Funny that.
Strange how that
Literally
goes.
half the town is killing half the town. There's got to be a murderer and a victim every time.
It's like very strange. All those shows were absurd. Jake and the Fat Man, though, was one I actually had to watch with my mom. Mm-hmm. I think it was on. Like After Designing Women or something,
like a daytime,
or where Cedric the Entertainer gets his jokes. So Patrick Mahomes' dad is 53 years old and just got his third DUI over the weekend. I just want to put that out there as somebody with 4 DUIs. What a
there, but for the grace of God, go I.
His third one for the weekend?
No, over the weekend.
Wait, okay. He had 3 this weekend.
Yeah, this weekend he had 3 DUIs.
Wait, he got his third one ever, or 3 in one weekend?
3. No, I'm kidding. His third one ever.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm gonna say, dude, the Mahomes do everything to their fullest.
Yes, just last Sunday,
110%,
110%, no matter what.
Somehow Sunday between noon and 6, he got 3 DUIs. Per ESPN.
They just kept letting him out.
Yeah, it was so strange. Real revolving
the
door.
Chiefs game was on
in Tyler, Texas.
It's funny to think about while he's being arrested for his DUI, the camera cut to Taylor Swift at some point.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
She's just in the box like
dancing.
Lock him up.
Or just getting a phone call to bail him out, and she's like, "Oh, right, no." Sorry.
Let me check my couch.
Let me make sure.
$1 billion.
Dude, but if you're Patrick Mahomes' dad, 3D, you're playing on house money, dude. Who cares?
It's Patrick Mahomes.
Mahomes.
Oh. So it's Patrick Mahomes, right?
Yeah.
Mahomes?
Yeah. I was being corrected, I thought.
Mahomes.
It was the wrong button. Well, he was arrested in Tyler, Texas. I always thought Texas didn't give DUIs.
I think they give a lot of DUIs.
Maybe now.
Yeah.
I feel like it was one of those states, though, where for
Wild
a long
West.
time it was like, hey, you get out of here.
Who doesn't get, like DUIs, if you want to get a DUI, Wisconsin's the place to go.
Yeah, they're pretty lenient.
They
Everybody's
don't
drunk
give
there.
a shit, dude.
They're like, look, if you can finish this bowl of cheese curds, you're going home.
I was in Wisconsin with some friends doing shows up there, and I was like featuring for one of my buddies. And one of the guys that was with us on the shows we got pulled over, and he got a DUI. He was out of jail 3 hours later, and I think it only cost him like $1,000.
Seems about right.
It was like, dude, what even is this? This is
Wisconsin people are
law.
They're a different breed. I had a good friend that moved to Texas from Wisconsin, and his parents came and visited, and they brought a rifle and a 6-pack, and he was 17 years old. Wisconsin people rad.
I get it.
Crazy. Cheeseheads.
But now that it's his third one, he is facing up to 10 years in jail because this is his third DUI. Oh. And I assure you he won't get it.
Yeah, he's not. He'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't think he's...
Unless the Chiefs lose the Super Bowl.
Then there's a good chance he might get it. I don't think he's gonna get 10 years. No. It's very rare. The craziest like sentence I think I've ever heard for one of a famous person was Royce the 5'9" got a year for his first DUI.
Really?
Yeah, in Detroit. Yeah. Other than that, though,
Michigan's got strict ones, huh?
It depends when you got them. My first 3, pretty lenient. The last one, pretty rough. But I was a minor for the first 3.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you get 3 now, like, dude, they're brutal now.
Oh yeah, it's really, like $25,000 or something in Texas.
Oh yeah, mine was $20,000. I had to wear a tether. I had to blow start my car, and that was in 2009.
Jeez.
So yeah, Patrick Mahomes' dad might be having a blow starter in the old wagon. That's for sure. But of crazier news with celebrities, Bill Maher has filmed a podcast with Kanye West that won't air because it turns out he found Kanye West anti-Semitic.
What?
I guess he had not watched every other podcast.
I know, it's crazy to like assume that yours is going to be the one that he's chill on.
Yeah.
I like Kanye. I think, you know, he's like sweet, you know what I mean?
I just like what he says. No, I'm kidding.
Well, he's like, you know what? He's like insane, but he doesn't care. You know what I mean?
He's almost like a child, you know? He's like a child, like realizing like Santa Claus is real. Like, what? Oh my God, guys! I got to tell everybody about it. I'm telling everybody constantly about this one thing. It's kind of sad, actually.
I think it's just manic depression.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. It's like, you know, it's like, I don't know. Like growing up, I had a friend and they had a dog with a tumor on its face. And it was a dog. So it was just like, oh, I bet more face. It's like, that's what Kanye is.
More face.
You know, he doesn't give a fuck. He's just happy to be himself. And then we're the owners that have the tail still wagging. We'll see this through, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Barr said he thought it was going to be a learning moment. And it's like, why? Did you think?
Well, he learned.
Well,
Bill
did. Bill learned that you don't just assume you're going to tell a guy who thinks he's a lyrical genius how to think.
Wow, that's like the unstoppable force meets the immovable object of narcissism. You know, it's just like,
we're going to sit down on my basement podcast, and at the end, Kanye's going to be like, "You're right.
You figured it out."
Yeah, you're right, dog.
Bill Maher.
Yeah, Jews ain't so bad.
Wait, you're one? Oh.
He is like, it is funny. People keep like talking to him at all. It's just like, just stop bringing him on interviews and let him make the music.
Right.
It's not being anti-Semitic in the music. The music's good.
Yeah.
That's the end result of just 40 combined years of talking to nobody but yes men, don't you think?
I feel absolutely the same way, because there was this video that came out maybe like a month or so ago where he was just in, it looked like he was in a hotel room, but like a motel room with 50 people that were just random strangers, and he's just ranting for like 15 minutes straight. And he's just like going on and on and on. Everybody's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But he's talking like nonsense. Dude is just like rambling, and everybody's just going, yeah, Kanye, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like that.
I thought you were talking about Bill Maher.
Oh, well.
It's tough to tell the difference. But Maher did say he was a very charming anti-Semite, but he just didn't want to put anything more out there against Israel, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, I get it.
But
what do you think was going to happen? I don't know.
I don't know. Bill Maher's going to rail about wokeism and liberalism for 45 minutes and then conclude that's why we have to stop Trump. And you're like, wait, what?
That is true. He does take every Trump side and then say that he's not for him.
Yeah.
You're like, are you sure, Bill? Because I like Bill. A lot of people, you know.
I've always found it.
You know what? I grew up watching.
I like Politically Incorrect, and then I liked Real Time, and I've liked several of his stand-up specials. You know, enough.
Yeah.
It's not like you have to.
He's talented. Hell yeah.
We've talked about this a bunch. Like, you don't have to agree with what everybody says to find them funny.
Well, it's also like one of those things where it's like you can find somebody to be. Some people don't like someone because they think they're an asshole, and like I think somebody's an asshole, but it's like he's an entertaining asshole.
Exactly. And Norm made a good point about him, where it's like, to be the smartest guy in the room, you don't really need to be that as a comic. Mm-hmm. And I think there is a lot there, you know. But he does host a political show with a lot of. You know, people that are leaders. So I do understand why he does have to sort of stand his ground on things, especially now.
Yeah,
when you have so many people that have come after him, and I do respect him for putting comedy first almost every time.
Uh-huh. I respect him because he could have so easily gone just head down, join the rest of the crowd, not question anything, but he actually is from their side, because we need more of that. We need more liberals saying, hey, some of this stuff is kind of crazy. We need to back down a little bit. And that's what I respect about Bill.
I agree.
I don't agree with him.
That's something I always admired about RFK, too, because that's a guy who's essentially royalty, and all he has to do is fall in line and enjoy the cakest life imaginable.
Right. He doesn't have to say shit.
And he chooses the path of most resistance, really.
And gets a lot of crap for it, which I find that most of the authentic people do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just have to be okay with it.
Yeah, just still.
Well, it just seems odd that people will listen to some of the most disingenuous people, but then will absolutely go against the ones that know what they're talking about.
Dude. It's too real.
When, speaking of which, I do find very genuine. Ice Cube was on Bill Maher's podcast, Club Random, and I guess this was a couple years ago, but we all know Ice Cube created, gangster rap. He was a very young man when he started penning, like, Fuck the Police and all that.
Star of Are We There Yet?
Yes, and Alex Jones, a tweet recently, put out this video on the 29th, agreeing with Ice Cube.
Same people who own the labels own the prisons.
Literally the same people?
Literally the same people who own the labels own private prisons. The records that come out are really geared to push people towards that prison industry.
But they didn't make you write those lyrics.
It's not about making somebody write the lyrics. It's about being there as guardrails to make sure certain songs make it through and certain songs don't. Some records are made by committee, meaning record company guys sit around and tell the artists, this is hot, say that, do this. We're gonna have this guy write the lyrics. We're gonna have that. You have, the record company pushing the narrative. Some social engineering going on here to make sure those prisons stay full.
Interesting, man. That's the thing I always go to when people try to make conspiracy, like everything's connected, it's all run by the same cabal of people. I think it's really just small groups of evil people that have this power. Like that, like rich person that owns private prisons. Then
I had to pee.
Oh, okay. Then can also purchase these labels, and what benefits them? Well, having people in prison, right? So then that one group of people that own that business make these decisions, and then it affects everybody. But I don't think it's like the government is connected to this.
Well, I think it's just as simple as any of these major corporations, any of these conglomerates, be it the food, be it the media, be it the pharmaceutical industry, none of them have your best interests at heart.
Right.
It's all about what'll make money.
Right.
Do you think they want to put Pat Mahomes' dad in jail?
Possibly.
No, I think you're right. I mean, none of it does come down to anything else other than the fact that they kind of do want you, not just a working class, but kind of a slave class, which is part of it.
Well, it's like they don't want you healthy. They want you sick and alive.
Exactly. And they also
want you buying their shit.
And they want you working just enough with just enough ambition to where you're capable of doing something, but they don't have to pay you a lot, which is why they ship stuff overseas. That's why for-profit prisons are just an excellent idea for these.
And they don't want you. They don't want you thinking about it either.
Right. And that's school systems are the same way. They kind of like push you right into being that middle class, not that smart, not questioning why the things work the way they do. So yeah, it's. I think there's a lot that makes people think that it's all connected and it's all this big evil corporation kind of thing, but it's a lot of evil independently that are just opportunists.
A lot of
it's really the devil, right? It's that evil in the back of every person's head that goes, "Hey, get a little bit more money."
A lot of it's just human nature at a mass scale, don't you think?
Exactly. When you have that much power, like monetarily, then you're gonna. It seems to be the trend, if you're not Jesus, to manipulate people and to make your money bigger. And how you do that, you take advantage of people. It seems to be that way.
And what just popped on the screen there too was from the People's Voice, and it was a CIA agent saying that he did confirm that the agency admitted to helping create the division, the gangster rap is a as a private person for conglomerate.
Yeah.
Well, it's also one of these things too. When you look at the things they've admitted to doing in other countries, you're supposed to go, well, they never did it in our country because no, they wouldn't do that.
The Tuskegee experiments. Would never happen.
Giving people syphilis.
Right.
She's showing some of the articles that have come out. I mean, some of them, one's from 2013, one goes all the way back to 1991, saying as much as what Ice Cube is saying.
No, I totally believe it.
It's kind of crazy that it's been a thing.
And that's when Cat Williams said that he went in and they had that Illuminati meeting with him and Luda. I totally believe something like that happened. I don't think it's the Illuminati. I think it's just people were like, okay, well, we're going to pick the person that is going to align with what we want them to do more. So I'm going to ask these two famous people, will you do this? Will you do this? If the one that says no, we kick him out. We pick the other guy. It makes sense.
Dude,
I don't think it's crazy at all.
I'm completely at a loss on all of this.
You pissed at the wrong time.
Yeah. I understand.
No, you're good.
You're very high and scared.
I'm such a sucker for all the. I just believe everything.
Dude, absolutely. It's easy. It's
well,
easy.
I think there is an element.
Nice. It's like warm. All right. Yeah, whatever they say.
Oh, I think there's a belief, but it is true to an extent. I mean, it's like Ice Cube saying in that video, he's saying that it wasn't anybody that told him to pen the lyrics, but he had the thought process built into his head for a reason because the division was already being created.
Yeah,
and it was. I mean, if you look back to black families in neighborhoods the way that they were divided at one point. I mean, Detroit used to have an area called Black Bottom, and in Black Bottom it was where every single black family got along, and they created these giant communities, and that was an area between 6 and 8 Mile, and they took care of each other, and families, fathers, everything. They were all part of homes, and
it's like Oklahoma, the black neighborhoods. What was it, Tulsa?
Tulsa, I think.
Yeah. When they were doing extremely well, they owned a lot of businesses. They were affluent. And people had a problem with that. So,
absolutely. So, there's always been something to create a division and anger, and that's never changed. I mean, look at it now. Everything's always been divisive. I think it's just now.
But the important thing is to trust the government that did that in the first place.
Yeah. Exactly. And if they tell you that they want you to take something, you should immediately take it and never question it.
No questions.
I'm all in on that lifestyle.
Yeah. Whatever they tell you.
All of that stuff was the fault of poor white people. Not the government.
Yeah, it's my fault.
Yeah,
don't listen to the guy. It's my fault. All right, quote me on that.
Here's the thing: the ultra rich want you to have as much as possible, and that's what we've learned today.
They like sharing.
Yeah, there's one thing that I've learned: rich people stay rich by sharing the wealth.
Yes. Yes.
Good night.